Hey, what's up, guys? Chris here. Welcome back to the Camera Junkie podcast. And today I want to talk about the potential of a Canon EOS R1 coming out this year. I think, we've got some rumors here, but I think these rumors are I just want to start out by saying this because I think these rumors are possibly, or very well inaccurate. And we'll go right down the list and I'll tell you why I think they're kind of inaccurate. Yeah, so let's go ahead and just I'll hit the record on this iPad here so we can kind of go through what I think of it and what we've got here. So let's get started. All right, so it says an anonymous source contacted us, thanks, and sent us a list of what could be the specifications of a Canon EOS R1 flagship camera. We know such a camera is in the coming. Most rumors foresee an announcement within 2021. Without further ado, here are the specification list we got. Approximately 85 megapixel global shutter CMOS image sensor. I'm not gonna lie to you, I don't really know all that much about a global sensor or global shutter. I'm not, I'm in rumors. I'm not really a master of all this stuff. But I also believe that 85 megapixels may be a little bit. I don't doubt that Canon's possibly made an 85 megapixel sensor. However, I think that's probably going to be something like the R5S or something like that. Just by going through what the Canon 1D lineup is, I think that 20 to 30 megapixels is probably the more accurate range. The 1DX Mark II is and 3, I think, were both 20 megapixel sensors. So I think that seeing an 85 megapixel sensor, I don't think that's far-fetched in something that's coming, but I think it is far-fetched in the Canon R1. I think that you'll see somewhere between 20 and 30 megapixels. I do expect a new sensor, something new from the company. Whether it, I doubt they're going to kind of redo what they've already had. It says approximately 85 megapixels at 20 frames per second and 21 megapixels at 40 frames per second. Now, there's no video specs in this rumor site, so that's kind of a bummer to me because I'm doing more video. This is mostly photography, and I think the Canon 1 series of cameras is a, kind of a master of all trades, system. It always kind of has been, right? It's the flagship. It's got to have the best of everything, right? So if another camera has 8K video, I expect this thing to have 8K video at a minimum, well, 8K is kind of the industry leader at this point. So I think 8K is probably, you can probably pretty much guarantee 8K to be in there. But it says 21 megapixels at 40 FPS. So that's burst shooting, right? I think that you'll see, since you've got to have. Let me step back a little bit. You got to have 8K. You got to have around 50 megapixels for 8K, 40 something, I think. So you'll see at least that many. That 20 to 30 probably is a little bit far, a little bit too low. I think you probably will see in the 50, somewhere in the 50 megapixel range. I think 85 is probably a little far fetched. I think 85, like I said, is probably gonna be something in like the Canon EOS R5S. Remember they used to have the D5 5DS or something, 5DR. What was that? What was it called or something like that? That was a much higher megapixel count back in the day. Full sensor large quad pixel autofocus technology. So they typically have the dual pixel autofocus, and now they're talking about quad pixel autofocus. Now I don't doubt that they'll make this, but I think it's really just going to be kind of a slogan thing because Canon, and Sony are widely known as having the best autofocus in the game. I'm shooting on a Sony A7C right now. I don't think there's any issue with Canon's dual pixel autofocus system. I think they're probably going to name it the quad pixel autofocus system. It'll probably be a little bit better, but I don't think it's going to be like 4 times better or twice as good, I guess. You can't really get twice as good. Canon's, pretty much nails autofocus 90% of the time, so 99% of the time. 15 stops of wide dynamic range. Yeah, okay, I can see that. That's something that I definitely could see. 15 and a half stops. that's a pretty good amount, you know, to be able to. Canon's dynamic range isn't necessarily my favorite. I'm not saying it's bad. It's not necessarily my favorite. Especially like when it comes to video and you're like vlogging or something like that. A lot of times, if your kind of exposure is correct, you know, the sky is always kind of blown out a little bit. Whatever. An ISO range of 160 to 1,638,400. I see this being a little inaccurate, in my opinion. I expect it to be lower than 160. 160 for a flagship, you know, super camera. I don't know. I'm thinking more like 80. You know, ISO of 80. 1.6 million ISO. I don't know about that. 5-axis IBIS, up to 9 stops. I do expect this. Now, one of the things I'm kind of curious to see is because typically, obviously, the 1D is, you know, got a built-in battery grip, right? We haven't seen a mirrorless. We've seen one mirrorless camera to this point from Olympus that's got a built-in battery grip. Canon or Sony just came out. The A1 did not have a built-in battery grip. I think that was kind of one of those things that I think they kind of missed on. Obviously, you can buy a battery grip for it, but I think for that price tag, $6,500, I think it should have had a built-in battery grip. Personally, I think that, you know, when mirrorless cameras first came out, everything was, the whole idea behind mirrorless cameras was, well, it's smaller, it's more compact, you can take it with you wherever you go. I understand that. But as more and more mirrorless cameras have come online, lenses and things have gotten bigger. I mean, right now, mirrorless lenses are no smaller. You know, they're the same size as anything that was a, you know, traditional DSLR. So I don't think that really matters. I think the Sony A1 should have had a built-in battery grip, my personal opinion, because I think that makes it, you know, a little bit more professional. So I think that I'm hoping that the 1D or Canon R1 comes in with a built-in battery grip. Same with the Nikon version of it. I think it should still have a built-in battery grip. And I think that, you know, Olympus had theirs. Rumors are flying around that there might be a new version of that EM1X coming out. So that's pretty cool. We'll get to that once I kind of get better information on it. A 3.5-inch, 9.33 megapixel, 1280 nit, 10-bit WCG RGB OLED touchscreen with 120 hertz. That seems a little bit ridiculous to me for a 3.5-inch screen. 12880 nits, that seems pretty awesome. 9.33 million dots. I see those kind of being in this camera if it does come out, or when it comes out. It's not if, it's going to be when. This camera will come out at some point, whether it's this year or, you know, I think that, you know, Sony come out with their flagship this year. Nikon has already kind of, I want to say they already hinted at having their flagship Z-mount camera, and I think this year's got to be the year that everybody comes out with their like pro, high-end, fully featured, master of all trades cameras. So, yeah, having a screen like that, I think that's, now I do wonder because Nikon or Canon typically doesn't have any kind of articulating screen on that camera, not even a flip, you know, a tilty screen. So this is kind of a little bit interesting to me to see what they come up with on the screen, because I think that, I mean, that's a photography camera, at least kind of a tilty screen, but it is, you know, a much bigger camera, so it may, I don't know, we'll see. 9.44 million dot, 120 hertz, super speed AE, AF electronic viewfinder, so pretty badass viewfinder. I think these viewfinders are going to get to the point where they're almost better than, you know, what was on DSLRs and stuff. So optical viewfinders. So this is kind of interesting. It's the jack of all trades, or the master of all trades camera. It's going to have the best of the best in everything. So, yeah. Price tag at $8,500 now. That's a couple $1,000s more than what the 1D series was. A lot of people in the comments down below are saying a global shutter for $8,500, so I'm assuming that's kind of a big deal. $8,500 seems like a lot for this camera. I think, especially going $2,000 from what they currently, from their 1D, which just came out last year. Was it last year? I think it was last year. So $2,000 price tag increase from a camera that upgraded from just last year that was only $6,500. I think $8,500 might be just a bit far-fetched in the price tag area. But let's see. Even in the comments, even in the rest of this thing, this list is a bit of a too good to be true side of things. On the other hand, no one expected the R5 to be so feature-rich and innovative. Hence, the EOS R1 might have all those killer features above. In any case, for the time being, we recommend to take it with a grain of salt. I do too. Who knows when this camera's coming out? And here's the thing with a lot of these rumor sites, man. Like, just kind of, if they don't have a date, hey, this is coming out next week. On this date, they've got an announcement already. They're inaccurate until we're days out. So until I'm talking about a camera and we're days out from it, kind of take what I'm saying and take a lot of these rumor sites as well, with a grain of salt, because it's just that they're just rumors. And there's another thing, the specs, especially the 85 megapixel resolution, seems to be more likely for also rumored high-end resolution EOS R camera, dubbed the EOS R5S. Like I said, that's why I think that you'll see. It says which is indeed rumored to have a resolution around 90 megapixels. That's what I'm saying. So if Canon is making a super high resolution sensor, it's probably going to be something along these lines, because I think that camera has a very specific niche, and I think the R1 is supposed to be like kind of a master of all trades. That's why I think you'll see more like a 45 to 50 megapixel, maybe 60 megapixel sensor max. I don't think you'll go up to 85. We got the rumors as featured to the EOS R1, but it wouldn't be the first time the similar information gets lost in translation. As far as I'm concerned, specifications above might as well refer to the EOS R1. All right. The Canon EOS R1 is rumored to get announced along with a new big telephoto lens for the RF mount system. All Canon EOS R1 rumors are listed here. So I'm going to... Yeah, so there's a bunch of others. So I'll put these links in the description below when I upload this video. Put this link in there, of course, and then you can kind of go see all those other links. But I'm going to go ahead and stop this also and get back to talking to you guys. I think it's time now for some more... for them to kind of go all in on mirrorless. Now, I said before, I think in another video, that I think it's time for APS-C as well to go professional level APS-C camera. They don't have that yet. I don't believe. None of the, other than Fuji, crop sensor, and Panasonic. Those are the only, like, in my opinion, professional level crop sensor cameras that are still relevant today. Like the 7D. That was a professional level crop sensor camera. Nikon's got some professional level crop sensor DSLRs, 7500, D500, great cameras, but they don't have mirrorless yet. And I think that I'm hoping that having Sony come out and just hitting 2 home runs right out of the gate with the FX3 and the A1, that maybe this year will be that year that we start seeing high-end professional level mirrorless cameras. Not that we haven't had professional mirrorless cameras, but I'm talking like, the flagship, the 1D, the D5 from Nikon, that's what I'm talking about. Built-in battery grips, all the latest features, all the best of the best. It might be time. So anyways, that's about it for Canon R1 rumors. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, this podcast, and hit that subscribe button if you like it, and, comment down below if what you guys think about the R1, if you're interested in it. So thank y'all for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Later.